Hello everyone, welcome to Emerge IAS Free Mains Answer Writing Program Day 60. Today our question is from GS Paper 3 and the question is here. This may be a familiar situation because it is more relevant to the current situation in India. The question is here. The pandemic has not only disrupted the economy but also has brought out the worst of manifestation of inequality in the economy. Comment. Here the question need us to comment. When the question asks us to comment, we have to discuss in it, like we have to tell for and against argument for this question. And see, here the question itself says that the manifestation of inequality to a worst level. That means inequality was already in India, that we all know, because here they want us to tell about the changes, changes happened after the pandemic in relation to the inequality. Here in this question, apart from discussing an answer or an answer structure, we are going to discuss what's the approach to this question and what all are the things that we have to write in each part of the answer. And we can start with introduction part. In the introduction part, what we are going to write? We have to address this question, right? So in the introduction part, we have to establish the fact that inequality was already high in India. Inequality was already high in India. This is the theme of our introduction. Our introduction should lie within this theme. That means in the introduction we can add points like the already present inequality levels in India, or something some reports that and what are the things. And we have to mention that the inequality level was already alarming in India before the pandemic also. When we comes to the word inequality, most of the people started writing something related to a gender equality. Okay, you can also add some gender equality points here, because the gender inequality made the situation more worse. And because when the lockdown or a COVID pandemic came to India, the burden on the women increased, and that's created a gender inequality also, worsened the gender equality. Then you have the main thing you have to write down here is the economic inequality, and what are the effects of this economic inequality created by the pandemic. And that's what you have to write your introduction part. And coming to your body part, in the body part you have to write this manifestation of inequalities happened in India due to the pandemic under three major heads. This was based on an article published on the Hindu, and three major heads. The first one is loss of health and death, and the second thing is loss of education. That is an important point you have to elaborate about. Maybe in the future questions, future days, we will be adding a question and asking a question only in this topic, that is a loss of education due to the pandemic, because that's a important point that we have to discuss and we have to know about. And the third thing is the loss of nutrition. These are under the three heads under which we are going to write our answer. In the loss of, we have to elaborate everything. In the loss of health, you have to explain what are the losses that happen, which worsen the inequality. You have to always remember that when we are coming to pandemic situation, people start writing about the pandemic and what it did and something like that, and they just divert from the need of the question. So we have to always remember that this question is asking for addressing the inequality level that increased due to the pandemic. So we have to always remember that. Under the loss of health, we can say that the infection is likely to be high in low income families, and also the same time the death of only breadwinner. That means if a person, for a family, a single person was earning, and his earning or his or her earning was the only means of livelihood for that family, and due to this pandemic or due to COVID-19 the person lost his life, then the whole family will be set inside the danger zone. They will be in a more unequal to others, because their only source of income was, only source of livelihood was no more there, so they have to look forward for something else, and their availability, their opportunity to access or education or a health system was not the same that they earlier had. So we have to explain that about in the loss of health and death point. And the next thing we have to explain is the loss of education. Loss of education was the main thing when we come to the inequality created by the pandemic, because we know that the children all over the India didn't get the same facility like others during this pandemic, because due to this pandemic the online classes were held, right? Online and television classes were held, but not every children they attended the school previous were get this availability to access these classes, because when you come to online classes that seems more expensive to some people, or they don't have much facilities, and some accessible to some areas. Even though if people have accessible to mobile phones or television, the accessibility to internet connectivity and the television connectivity, especially in the tribal and rural areas, and this created a very drastic inequality in India. And this is not a thing that will be for now only, because it is a long term, because the people who lost their opportunity to education, their opportunity to learn, that will be remain in this society. Even though they are grown up, that will be a great loss for each and every student who lost education during this time. So we have to deeply analyze that question, and just in this question you can just add some points. In the future days I will be giving you a question especially for this loss of education. In that question you have to explain, and in this question you have to explain that the already prevalent inequality in educations, like what are we did to curb that situation, like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan or a free education, midday meal schemes or something like that. And the next point is the loss of nutrition. Loss of nutrition is the main thing, because we can add points like midday meal schemes. If even student lost the right to education through the loss of education to this pandemic, so you can add something point like that midday meal scheme, that was the only source of nutrition to many children in India, and that was no more to people due to this pandemic. And also you can add some points like the pregnant women getting supplements from the Anganwadis and all. You can add that points also, and that's all about this question. And you have to analyze each and every points in detail. That was the need of the question, and you have to give some way forward. You have to give some suggestions to curb this, and the suggestions means this is not a short term suggestion, because all these problems are not created just because the pandemic, because these were already prevalent in India. So we have to give suggestions in a long term manner. We have to give some long term views or long term suggestions for the government. And that's all about this question. If you have any doubts, please ask me in the comment section. And if anyone want the detailed answer key for this question, just join MOJS free mains answer writing program by sending your name and email ID to our WhatsApp number, that is 977-857-1923. You can send this, or you can send email to our email address, that is mojis2021@gmail.com as given here. Okay, that's all about this question. If you have any doubt, please ask me in the comment section. Okay, then don't forget to subscribe our channel and to click the bell icon. See you tomorrow. Bye guys. Have a great day.